He's a person that it was dear to my heart.
He's mourning the death of a football coach described as inspirational and energetic. Tonight, we're learning when the community will say goodbye. And with the news that singer Aretha Franklin is gravely ill, people across mid-Michigan are showing her respect. It's time for TV5 News at 11.
Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEMTV5 News at 11.
A potentially deadly virus has prompted the closure of a mid-Michigan animal shelter. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm David Custer. Colette has the night off. The Saginaw County Animal Care and Control Center is undergoing a thorough scrub down with the goal of eliminating parvovirus, which is highly contagious. TV5's Scott Walczak live outside the shelter. And Scott, why is the shelter taking such a decisive step?
Well, David, the shelter is doing this because for the past month or two, they've really been seeing an increase of dogs coming in with this, and it's very deadly, especially for puppies. Just last Friday, 5 puppies got it, and they had to be put down, and that was a wake-up call.
They became very sick very fast. They were really suffering.
Infecting a litter of 5 puppies at Saginaw County Animal Shelter Friday. Parvovirus is deadly for younger dogs.
It's a really strong virus. A sudden spiked fever, vomiting, and diarrhea, oftentimes some bloody diarrhea.
The litter had to be euthanized. The scariest part, this was becoming a trend. Only a couple weeks ago, a different litter at the shelter were infected and had to be put down. Go back around 2 months, a stray had the virus. Interim Director Michelle Sawyer believes the dogs had parvo before coming to the shelter, but they're taking no more chances, shutting down for a deep cleaning.
We're moving kennels, we're moving behind everything, we're going back and double cleaning.
They've also isolated the parts of the kennel the infected dogs were in, but parvo is very strong, very resistant. It's hard to get rid of.
Normal cleaners do not kill the virus. You have to use either something that we use, which is a shelter type industrial cleaner, or a 1-part bleach to 30-part water solution.
Sawyer says the remaining dogs at the shelter do not have any signs of parvo, but they're closely monitoring the health of their animals and cleaning as much as they can.
We just want to make sure that we've done everything we can do to make sure that that virus has been killed.
To prevent any further contamination, the shelter is not going to be accepting dogs that are surrendered from homes for the next few days until they get that deep cleaning done. They are accepting strays, though. Reporting live in Saginaw, Scott Walczak, WNEMTV5.
All right, Scott, thank you. To help prevent parvo in your puppy, get your dog vaccinated and keep puppies away from other dogs until they develop a stronger immune system. Developing news, a man behind bars suspected of shooting a 13-year-old boy in the face. The shooting happened late last night on South Granger Street in Saginaw. That's just a few blocks from the Saginaw County Courthouse. Investigators notified TV5 tonight they arrested 18-year-old Justin Enoch of Saginaw on a 4-count felony warrant. Now, they did not say what led up to the shooting. At last check, the victim was in critical condition. A man is facing charges in the attempted kidnapping of an 11-year-old girl. It happened Friday evening while Allison Eichhoff and her sister and 2 friends were at the Speedway in Millington. Investigators say she was attacked by 22-year-old Bruce Hipkins until the other girls intervened.
My sister's friend just kept on kicking them, scratching them, and everything. I just kept on hitting them, too.
Allison says one of the girls had hot coffee and threw it at Hipkins before they got away. Now, in his jailhouse mugshot, you can see the coffee stain right there on his shirt. Now, investigators confirm Hipkins has developmental disabilities, something his alleged victim is mindful of.
I'm mad, and I want him to get the help he needs.
Well, Hipkins is facing kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and other charges. He faces a preliminary exam in 2 weeks. Now, you can watch our original report on Allison's ordeal by going to the TV5 homepage. New details, funeral arrangements are now set for a football coach who died in a weekend car crash. Coach Pat, as he's affectionately called, was an assistant in Grand Blanc. The crash happened Saturday on Davison Road in Burton, and the team announced his death Sunday on its Twitter page. His loss hung heavy over practice today.
In the football field, I'm gonna miss my brother. He's not a cousin, he's a brother, and he's a person that it was dear to my heart. Sorry.
He was a great guy. He always came out with a bunch of energy, and for me, he was the first coach that I knew for a fact that he loved me and knew me personally.
Pat Mullally was 42 years old. His funeral is Friday morning at 11 at St. John the Evangelist Church. That's in Davison. Visitation is Thursday from 11 to 3 and 5 to 8 at Allen Funeral Home, and from 10 until the time of services Friday. Well, a noticeable warm-up on the way as you take this live look over Bay City and Midland. Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman in the First Warn 5 Weather Center, so get ready to sweat. Right, Brian?
Big time, David. It was warm enough today. We hit the low and mid-80s in many parts of the area, but we're just going to pile it on as we head into our Tuesday. And along with the high heat that we're going to see tomorrow, wouldn't you know it, it's coming along with a big dose of humidity as well. So these temperatures that we had out there today, the 82 high in Bay City, 85 was the high today, Midland, Saginaw, 86 Flint, and many other locations, as you can see, falling in that range. Well, those are probably going to feel pretty comfortable compared to what's coming our way for tomorrow. Also comfortable out there still in the present time. 70 Saginaw, 74 Bay City, just about everybody else in the middle to upper 60s as it stands right now. Skies will remain clear throughout the overnight period, but our good old friend, the patchy fog, will be developing just in time for the Tuesday morning commute. So allot yourself a few extra minutes to get to work in the morning and be prepared to deal with that heat. We'll break it down coming up in your full forecast.
All right, Brian, thank you. The music world on edge tonight with the news. Legendary soul singer Aretha Franklin is in hospice care at her home in Detroit. People magazine reporting the death of the 76-year-old is imminent. The pastor of the church where Franklin began her career calling for prayers.
Asking God to continue this miracle because it's great that she's made it this long. Without Aretha, the church wouldn't still be here. She's the one that's kept it alive these last 30-some years.
Now, the church will hold prayer service dedicated to Franklin on Wednesday. And while she's still with us, people are celebrating her legacy. Here with that story is Meg McLeod in the studio. Hi, Meg.
Celebrating and preparing for the loss. As loved ones gather around Aretha, Mid-Michiganders tell us when she passes, it will be like losing a family member. Wegner has sold a lot of the Queen of Soul's work at his Saginaw shop, records and tapes galore.
Aretha had a tremendous impact.
Wegner watched Aretha Franklin's rise from humble beginnings in Detroit to taking over the music world as a Motown legend.
She came right out of the church choir.
Her stardom as big as her voice, cranking out hits like Chain of Fools, Respect, Freeway of Love, and dozens of others. Like Wegner, so many other Mid-Michiganders grew up listening, singing, and dancing to Aretha's songs.
Her music was played in my home, and my grandparents played her music, and I just grew up to love her. Her music grew on me.
She meant a lot to me, you know, in all the years she did sing.
She was wonderful, Aretha Franklin. Had great beat, and respect. I mean, you always think of the song Respect.
And Wegner says after all those years, more than 5 decades, singers like Aretha don't come around every day.
She was just a natural.
And tonight, Beyonce dedicated her concert at Ford Field in Detroit to Aretha, saying, quote, "We love you and thank you." For now, live in the studio, I'm Meg McLeod. I'll send it back to you.
She is no doubt music royalty. Meg, thank you. We'll keep you updated on the Queen of Soul's condition and bring you more reaction on Wake Up beginning at 4:30 and on the TV5 mobile app. Well, scientists uncovering new clues to origins of bipolar disorder and depression. Find out why they believe they may be linked to viruses. And does this car right here look familiar? It's a replica of the 1960s Batmobile. We'll introduce you to the man who builds them for a living. And a massive new study looks at whether childhood vaccines are linked to autism. That's next.